The Godfather Part II follows Al Pacino as Don Michael Corleone as he looks to expand the Corleone empire and crawl closer to his dream of legitimizing his business. In the first film, Michael is mentored by his father Vito during an era in which the Corleones were subjugated to numerous attacks from rival families, and ostensibly they were growing weaker, until of course Michael carries out a deadly attack on all rival families simultaneously, thus cementing his power in New York. After cleansing his family of traitors like Tessio and Carlo, Michael leaves New York to bigger and better things, leaving his loyal capo Peter Clemenza in charge of the Corleone crime family. In the second film, Clemenza has already died, with his position being taken by Frank Pentangeli, who visits Michael to ask for help in a street war he is engaged with the Rosato brothers. Clemenza's death is shrouded in mystery, and I've already made 2 detailed videos on it. One called Why Was Clemenza Not in The Godfather Part II, detailing disagreements between the actor who played him and the filmmakers, and also The Mysterious Death of Peter Clemenza, where I go through ways in which he might have possibly died, including his death in a sequel novel to The Godfather. There's one possibility that I never mentioned that I want to address, and that is the idea that maybe Clemenza actually became addicted to drugs and he checked out as a result of an overdose. Either that, or perhaps his drug addiction made it easier for his enemies to get to him. Or maybe even his own men, Pentangeli even, bumped him off after he became a liability. So what's the evidence for this? Well, when we are first introduced to Pentangeli, he is greeted by Fredo Corleone, and the subject of Old Man Clemenza comes up and him dying of a heart attack. And we get Willie Chi-Chi's enigmatic line, "That was no heart attack." It's pretty strange that this subject is never brought up again, but I do talk about it a lot in the other video I did on Clemenza's death. Before Chi-Chi says this line, Pentangeli makes a weird, elongated gesture to his arm, and it looks strikingly like a pose that you'd use to reference a heroin user. And if it isn't a reference to that, then what exactly is Pentangeli doing here? He's surely trying to say something. Now, you may think, well, sure, he does pretty much point to his arm, but maybe he's saying something else, although I don't know what. Or maybe it's just him processing his grief. But during the meeting with Michael, he makes the same gesture when he's sticking it to the Rosatos, saying they do violence in their grandmother's neighborhoods, that they do junk, that they do dope. And it's clear he's making a gesture referencing drug use. And sure, it isn't exactly the same gesture he made in the scene with Fredo, where he was kind of pointing to the side of his arm, but it's close enough that I think a case can be made where he actually knows that Clemenza died of his drug addiction, rather than his apparent heart attack, which seems to be the mainstream narrative among the Corleones. This explains the "that was no heart attack" line, and falls in perfect sync with Pentangeli's gesture earlier. Maybe it's common knowledge that Clemenza died of natural causes, but Pentangeli and Chi-Chi, who would have obviously spent a lot of time with him, knew the truth. But to save face, they did nothing to dispel the rumours. But here Pentangeli drops Fredo a little hint. It is actually a sound conclusion in my opinion, one that explains Chi-Chi's line and one that works without any need for reference to external material like books or deleted scenes. Perhaps there is a deleted scene that goes into this a bit deeper, but I'm not aware of any that exists, nor have I come across any interview from Francis Ford Coppola where he references Clemenza dying of drug-related reasons. It's possible it's something the filmmakers threw out there while they were deciding on how best to explain Richard Castellano's absence from the film. Or maybe it just was the filmmaker's intention for Clemenza to have died from a heroin overdose, but most people just missed the reference. Because the more I think about it, the more it works. Because otherwise, why would they include the "that was no heart attack" line without giving us an alternative possible form of death? And why did Pentangeli make that gesture to his arm? So what do you think of this theory? Does it work? Or do you think that Clemenza died some other way? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, check out my other videos on Clemenza, and thanks for watching.